What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the EL2A podcast. It's supposed to lead to access. I am Jamie Gilmore.
And I'm Eddie Rocket.
How y'all doing today, man? We obviously we in a different setting right now. As you can see, we in the car. We on the road. We actually head back. We're on I-75 right now. Headed back home. We just had a little brunch. A very important. I ain't gonna say it was important, but just a networking brunch. Networking with a couple brothers. Trying to make some things happen in our community, which was a success. And like you said, we just wanted to get on here and shed some light and do what we always do, give that game, that guidance, attention, motivation, education. And today we got an interesting topic to talk about, a couple topics to talk about. One thing I really wanted to talk, before we start talking, so here, recent events, some we have coming up. So the weekend of Thanksgiving, Saturday, November the 28th, we will be having a community fun day, our first annual community fun day. So it'll be fun. Obviously, it's a fun day, but it'll be games, food, all types of stuff. Games, food, and fun. So what we'll be hosting, having a kickball out there. We'll have a 3-point contest. With a punt, pass, and kick contest. We'll have a bounce house. We have and we have food. But this is going to be very special to us because we're going to be dedicating this day to raising funds for somebody that is important to us, that's important to our community, who is Daryl Pookie Collins. A lot of people may not know, but he is dealing with cancer right now. He was diagnosed with cancer not too long ago, with nut carcinoma cancer. So it's an unfortunate thing, unfortunate time, but what we want to do as an organization and us as individuals, because he meant so much to us in our journey, we want to give back to him. He was a mentor to us before we even know what a mentor was, but we want to be able to give back to him financially, because what he's going through right now, the last thing he needs to be worrying about is any financial things. So any proceeds, we're going to have shirt sales and we're going to have food sale. So we're going to sell some ribs and sell some shirts to raise funds for him. And if it wasn't for this, it'd be just a fun, free day. We would love, but we want to be able to raise some funds to help him out. So if y'all can come out for that. So November 28th, by the time you hear this, I'm pretty sure we've been already put it out, and you'll see more things about that. So be looking for that, our first annual community fun day. So to get into what we talked about, me and Eddie, we really want to talk about the topic of redefining success. That's what we initially wanted to get on here and talk about, but we were fortunate enough to go to a conference this past week on Friday, Live to Lead conference, who is hosted by John Maxwell, who is the #1 leadership expert, and he hosts this yearly. And the people that were on the panel were John Maxwell, Kate Cole, she's the COO and the president of a brand called Focus Brand. Steve Harvey, you all know who Steve Harvey is. Alan Malay, and he's the CEO and president of Ford Motor Company. You had Craig Rochelle, and he's a pastor and an author. This is a very informational day, but we want to kind of shed some light on some nuggets we got from it and expand on it and get that game like we always do. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to throw Eddie into it. We're going to get on and start on the conversation. So we're talking about the joy of the journey. And as you can, the joy of the journey, you can only think about what we're talking about when we say this. But it's one key thing that John Maxwell started his presentation off with, his speech, whatever you want to call it. The dream is free, but the journey isn't. And I'm gonna turn it over to Eddie, and I'm gonna ask him, what does he think about that?
Yeah, when you hear when I heard him say the dream is free and the journey isn't, that just brought back a lot of memories and a lot of things, my past, of the things that I dealt with. We all set out, just for Jamie and myself, and a lot of kids, a lot of you all set out with dreams and aspirations that you wanted to do, at a younger age. And you could dream big. You could dream and dream whatever you want to have in this world. You can have whatever it is. Whether it's $1 million, whether it's to be the top motivational speaker in the world, whether it's to be the best NBA player in the world. You have these dreams, but the journey that you take to get that dream, it's a process, and there are a lot of failures that go on within that process. There are a lot of things that you have to learn within that. So the dream is free, but the journey isn't. There are a lot of times where you're going to have to take the high road, where you're going to have to do some of the things that I think a motivational speaker said, if it was easy, everyone would do it. but it's not going to be easy to get that dream that you're trying to obtain. So again, when the dream is free, but the journey isn't, you have to be willing to endure some of the things, the pitfalls in life sometimes in order to get to where you want to be. And I know Steve Harvey spoke on one part where, you know, you got to have something. He said when the journey gets challenging, what keeps you going? And one was family, one was friends, one was education, and one was faith. And I know for myself, there were a lot of times that I use family as that pusher, you know what I'm saying, in order to get me where I am now, to continue to still push me, you know, on that success path, that journey to the success that I'm looking for. So yeah.
And that's good. And one thing I always, you know, I tell young men we work with it, cut different. I tell them all this. But I tell them you're unique in your own way. But this is the same thing. We were all created for a reason. We were all created to make a difference in this world. Like, God didn't create anyone just to not do nothing. So it's like, and a lot of people, when you think about making a difference, they think about money. They think about putting a lot of money into stuff and being able to create all this stuff. But making a difference can be simple as just bagging somebody groceries and making them smile. You know what I mean? Saying something nice to them. So we all it's another book that I'm reading. It's called I'm a Christian Man. And I think anybody who is a Christian, they should read this book. And it's called I'm a Christian Man. And the author of this book, he made a statement. He was like, everybody's job has a purpose. So you have to think a mechanic, a person in a mechanic, you know, you may be in a mechanic job, like, man, I don't want to do this. But in this world, we need mechanics. It's just like a team. You need everybody to play their position. So each job in this world is pivotal for the world to keep going. So a mechanic, you need to fix on that woman car that has kids, that depends on that car to get her kids to work. To school, and for her to get to work. So your job is just as meaningful as the next person that you look up to. So you have to be able to shift your focus and look at your job in that light, because you are changing lives. If you're bagging groceries and you're making people smile, or you putting a good energy in somebody that may have a bad day, you telling that person that have a nice day, or I love your shirt, I love just being kind. Your kindness may rub off on that person and make their day better. So everybody's job is meaningful. Everybody, so we all put in to make a difference, but it looks different. It's no one job or position that just signifies what every person should do. So it's all different. Other than that, I want to talk about how two things he talked about when we talk about the journey. He talked about the desire and consistency. So you got to have the desire. Whatever you're doing, the job, you got to have the desire to want to wake up and do whatever you're doing. So that's what's going to push you and motivate you to keep doing it. So obviously you got to have that desire, but you got to be consistent in all the things you're doing. So not having consistency. So what you think if you don't have consistency? What's that going to lead to?
Just failure in itself. Yeah. I mean, the consistency of I could use real life examples of having trying to start a business. Time after time, the business has. I'm not going. Well, yeah, I failed. The business has failed, but the consistency that I'm putting into it of getting back started, learning from my mistakes, is eventually going to get going. And once it get going, it'll be a successful business. So I got to learn from being consistent at failing. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but sometimes that's what you need in order to be successful is the failure.
Yeah, another thing, and that's part of your journey. When you're talking about that consistency, that's part of your journey. Even think about the journey. John Maxwell, he gave 4 points that was key to the journey. And I'm gonna go through this quick. Is add value, which we all know you need to add value to each situation you get in. Then you equip people to add value. So you add value first to whatever situation you're jumping in, and now you bring other people on and you teach them, or you equip them to be able to add value to other people as well.
So okay, well, what if, let's say we just speaking, all right, I go through school, I graduate. I don't have a college degree, but how could that person that doesn't have a college degree, how could they add value in all aspects of life? Like, how could they, let's say, all right, how can they add value to a child that needs a mentor? Like, what type of ways could that person add value that doesn't have that higher learner of education?
Well, first you gotta, it matters what you got. It matters what you're going in. So when you're adding value, it's unique to whatever you're doing. So when you're talking about adding value, so if that's that person that did go to school, okay, so what's next? So if you're going to get a job and you think, well, I don't bring nothing to this job, well, at that point you need to go learn. You need to go in it, like, you know what I mean? every person can't, or you can add value by just going to that job and making everybody smile. Like I just said, man, genuine person, bringing good, a good character, bringing, being a team player. That's add value to a situation. So it can't, you know what I mean? You don't have to bring financial things to add value. You can bring that that good charisma, bring good spirits to an environment. Then you eventually, as people see that add value, they're gonna pour into you, and that's gonna increase. So I say that. So if you don't go to school and you're just going into the workforce, whatever that is, start off there. Start off just being a genuine, great person, great human being. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good approach. Right. So like I said, add value, equip people to add value, and then develop resources. So this is content. So whatever you're doing, whatever avenue you in, you got to develop resources. If you're a trucker, you got to be able to develop people that has cars. You know what I mean? If you're a person that haul cars, you got to find people that have cars. If you are in a business of mentor, you got to find people to mentor. So it's just add value to your, developing resources in the situation you're in. And then the last one is transformation, transforming your situation. And you did those three things, now you should be in that situation where you transforming to the next level. And one thing I wrote down, he said, I didn't have my act together every step, but I took action every step. And it's gonna lead into our next conversation. So this is very pivotal. A lot of people, you don't make your next step because you feel like you ain't there yet. Everything in the line. It's never gonna be the right time. If you're gonna keep that attitude, it's never gonna be the right time. You just gotta take